And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left position of the map, we have the red Zerg player. Took the first game quite well. From Team Mouse Sports, it is VortiX. And his opponent in the top right position as the blue Terran player from Team Acer. It is MMA. So this is going to be a fun game. I was just talking to MMA in the pre-game. I was talking to him in the BattleNet chat. Like, it was just me and him talking about this series. And he was like, I said, good luck, man. I'm like, you going to build any Ravens? He's like, no. And then he said, on Yansu, I will show you good build. So I'm already excited for this game purely from the hype that I was given by MMA. And VortiX, well, he could do anything. So I don't know. Maybe this will be a really crazy game. Maybe it'll be a quick one. VortiX was not able to kill MMA with his roach timing in the previous map, for those of you that just tuned in. And yeah, I still think that this should be good. No matter what happens. He's going to open up with a Reaper. That barracks into gas. Against a hatch first from VortiX. Very standard. Very, very standard. And I'm mostly thinking that MMA's preferred bio. He has preferred bio mostly in this matchup. He did build a few siege tanks we saw in the last game, but I don't necessarily know that he wants to play with tanks unless he thinks there's going to be another roach play again. So it all really just comes down to being careful, being aware of what's going on. So the spawning pool is on the way. There's no gas this time around from VortiX. On the last two-player map, on Habitation Station, VortiX opened up with that gas to go for the roach timing. That did a reasonable amount of damage, but was not able to win in the game. And MMA opened Command Center first. This is the first Reaper opening that we're actually seeing for this match. So, wondering if MMA is going to build one Reaper, two Reapers. He has a third, maybe a second Reaper, excuse me. If he builds a third, that would be, I guess, the biggest question to look at. It's actually been pretty interesting. There's a couple of Terran players. I think Jachi's one of them that builds just one Reaper and then gets a reactor. And then there's some Terran players that like to go for two Reapers, just play normally. And then there's some that go for three. I think Innovation is one of them that's been doing it a lot. Fantasy as well. Three Reapers become super popular lately in the meta, and MMA will build a third Reaper as his command center begins in the natural expansion. So three Reaper play is good on Yansu because there's the cliff you can jump up. There's this area that I feel most people don't really even think about when they think about cliffs. And then from the natural, of course, you can always skirt around here. And MMA just wants to do as much damage as he can in the early game, force him back, deal some damage, but also force out Zerglings, maybe make him build more queens than he was wanting to do. The thing is, if you're a Zerg player and you're wondering, it's like, well, what builds are weak against 3 Reaper? Surprisingly enough, gas builds, if you open up with gas for anything like speed or whatever, the investment into those resources, at least from a Terran perspective, makes it more difficult for you to squeeze out queens, and that's what allows the Reapers to be good. But because VortiX has opened gasless, getting enough queens to defend this shouldn't be too hard. Oh, almost able to kill that creep tumor. Just 1 hit point left. But now the 3 Reapers can still poke, though. They can still do damage, and if VortiX isn't careful, 3 Reapers do 2-shot a drone. He could pick off queens as well. Third command center is on the way. Factory's moving out towards the reactor. And then the second gas begins. Second gas is going to begin as this factory drops down onto the reactor and, kill some more Zerglings. So MMA's still feeling good. And he also sees double gas being taken by VortiX in his natural expansion. This is later gas, by the way, than we saw on Frost when he went for the Zergling speed and then double evolution chamber. And he still does not have that third base started yet. So there's the potential for this to be either some form of reactionary aggression or... oh, wow, he went to build the Roach Swarm, but he got blocked by his own queen. And not able to cancel that. But there is the Roach Swarm, and MMA sees it. Now he knows. We actually saw he clicked on it. He knows it's there. He has Hellions on the way behind this. And that third command center about to complete as well. Tech lab prepared. So it looks like he's also going to go into Banshees as a follow-up. Hellions coming up now. And now with the Hellions, there's still no Zergling speed. So it's just Queens versus Reaper Hellion. And when you're a Terran player, you want to keep the Reapers in front of your Hellions. Keep the Reapers in front of your Hellions as much as possible, because the Reapers, of course, regenerate the health, but the Hellions need to go all the way back home to get repaired, and it just makes things really just a big pain. So Roachhorn will complete Evolution Chamber, just a single Evolution Chamber, maybe for +1 attack. Or maybe he just didn't have, maybe he was worried about getting a run by, so he just wanted to block it off with the Queens instead of getting the Evo Chamber. He's already preparing himself for the later transition to move back into Bio. So double Engineering Bay as well. MMA will not go mech. Lots of players actually go mech out of this. It's a particular strategy I like to use myself. But now the creep tumor is being planted by VortiX. He's starting to just spread out a little bit more. Still no third base for VortiX though. Makes me feel a little bit anxious this game. He's now moving a drone out, but this is not the timing that you would want for a third base. This is very, very late for the Zerg player. And while he was able to hold off this aggression, he's had to build roaches still that I don't know if he can actually be aggressive with. Yeah, he's actually just going to get +1 for melee. So these are just defensive roaches, which is not bad. This strategy can be really powerful if you only have Queens versus Hellion Reaper with the Banshee support, because the Banshees, of course, have the crazy amount of damage, and while the Queens are good versus Hellions, you need them to kill those Banshees as fast as possible. So steps back, and well, yeah, these roaches are really nice because it keeps the Hellions away. You can't move in with the Hellion Reaper when there are roaches on the map, and because of that, these Banshees, well, the Banshee can't do anything against the Queen. So all 3 Queens will defeat that Banshee without any trouble, especially since MMA did not opt to go for Cloak this game. He does have his 1/1 on the way, however, adding on 4 barracks now. And he has a tech lab on his factory, so he could get a tank if he wants to do so. Starport is now on the reactor. He's taking the gas in his natural expansion, and he's still trying to be active on the map, but it's quite difficult, I feel, with these roaches. And he's actually moving them over towards the right side, so he could maybe, if he wanted to, I guess, scan and kill some creep tumors. The Overseer is here, though. Spire is on the way. Baneling Nest as well. VortiX is getting everything else in place to go into a standard Zergling, Mutalisk, Baneling versus Marine, Medevac, Widowmine, what have you. And actually delay some of the building tumors. Not too bad from MMA. VortiX giving chase. And the Reaper is still dancing around. But what can he do here? 16 Zerglings in the production tab. And I love it. The Overseer is just like, yep, you're not going anywhere without me seeing where you are. I think because he already has the Overlord speed. And I like this. He uses that Overlord speed so that he can block what could have been a third base, but MMA will take the low ground base instead. This Reaper is just being annoying for whatever reason. And, oh, the Hellions, one of them does get caught by the Zerglings, manages to slip out. The Hellion he's quite a lucky man. And the scan from MMA in the natural, he sees the Spires about to complete. He sees the Baneling Nest is just finishing, and Baneling speed is starting, and he sees the upgrades are rolling along. So the 2-2 is on the way for our Zerg player. MMA actually, his armory a little bit late, does not have 2-2 started yet, so he'll be behind maybe 30-40 seconds, depending on just how fast he can start it once the upgrades are, once the armory is done. And he's going to take that gas very quickly as well at that third base, that fifth gas. I like this bunker positioning behind the mineral line, just being able to cover this. Know what's going on, and yeah, this is pretty solid. 7 Mutalisks on the way. He has. It's funny to see Roach, Zerglings, and Banelings together, but the Roaches, I can't see them having any real utility outside of this. One thing that's cool to mention is that VortiX has, in the first game on Frost, focused very heavily on the Mutalisk upgrades. Because of this, he's able to pick off the Marines much more quickly. He's able to pick off medevacs, especially those command centers that were being placed by MMA in the later stages of the game, just to kind of keep him away. Really. Keep his economy low. And now the Mutalisks are coming in. I like that this Banshee is still in here. You normally don't see him fighting with the Marines, but it does move slower than the stimmed bio, so I'm probably going to get caught after one of these fights. And he's just going still with just straight Marine Widowmine. He hasn't moved into Marauders just yet. Combat Shield is 20 seconds away. VortiX's creep spread this game is quite disgusting, just to be point blank with you. And, oh my goodness, is he going to... No, he came very close to running in and trying to fight this force. There's some Hellions over here. Mutalisks will pick up for free. But this creep spread is really, really good, and MMA needs to push this back. He basically has a direct highway to MMA's base. At the same time, this Banshee trying to get more utility, attacking that hatchery building in the bottom right, and these Marines are distracting him. Now he steps back a little bit more, but the mutas are going to go straight for that Banshee. He will not be able to kill the Satchery. He will not be able to force a cancel or do anything along those lines. Although he is getting a creep tumor, kicks off a Queen at the top. Thor is in production, so we're seeing him switch a little bit more. Marauder as well. What does VortiX have? Is there an infestation pit? No. He will get 2-2, and that will be it. He cannot get a Hive. He cannot get Ultralisks, and the Ultralisks were really what gave VortiX the advantage in the first match that they played on Frost. So this is very, I feel like this is a very scary situation to be in for VortiX. He's being pushed back now. The Marines step up, picking off more and more creep tumors. Of course, it does take, a decade or two for the creep to recede. It takes a little while, but he picks up his Marines off of it and runs away. These Widow Mines could do a lot of damage if VortiX isn't careful. He has the Overseers here. I think he can see these mines. Yeah, he knows. So he'll just pick those off. No trouble at all. But with the Thor, the Mutalisks won't have as much free reign. And I like that VortiX is trying to stay on top of spreading this creep, but he will lose this Queen. At least one of the tumors finishes, though. 2 tumors were finished, which means that creep can stay up front. Catches a lot of those Marines, though. And he still has some bio on the left side that's just going to get mopped up. He actually tries to run out and save them. Will any escape? Nope. None of those Marines are going to get out of there, unfortunately. And VortiX is actually just going to attack into this. He says, you've overextended. I can kill you. Thor gets picked off. And MMA just lost this game in the sap of a second. Is it that quickly? Hits the third. There's the bunker being repaired. The Marines inside Stim. He saved it for now, but the Medevac's being focused down. Those Mutalisks with the +1 doing more than enough damage. Zergling streaming across the map. And VortiX just wants to end this game right now. The Mutalisks on top of the Thor. He wants to move on to the round of 4. He kills the next Thor. Kills these Marines. Even the Reaper, the old veteran coming out of the bunker to fight once again and kill these roaches, will be able to do so, but VortiX has a 4th base. He has a 5th. MMA scans, he's thinking, okay, if this is his 4th base, if this is only his 4th base and he doesn't have any drones there, maybe I'm not dead just yet. He doesn't know about the actual, I guess you could call the actual 4th base, which is giving more than enough economy for VortiX to continue to put out a sustained number of Zerglings and Banelings, and we can see he's just building more. He's just trying to play this, as best he can, played safe too. And this Overlord was blocking this top left base. There's no command center there yet. He has one under construction, but he can't move anything over there yet. He doesn't have a base to put. As VortiX is just going to say, okay, well, let's kill that Marine. And oh wow, he's actually going to run into a Medevac too. It's like 2-for-1 deal, man. I can block your base again and kill a Medevac. Nice. Tries to boost away. Will he escape? Just barely, no. And lose a Marine in the same time. Missile turrets get a couple shots off, but nothing serious. And MMA's army is quite small. He's behind on workers, but his army supply is close. However, it is partially due to some of these Medevacs. And he does have a good number of Marines. Does he have enough mines to take out this force? 6 mines. 53 Marines is really the brunt of his army, and VortiX just wants to attack. He's like, I think I can just end this game. Coming in, once again, the Thor will be picked up and moved up to the ramp. He does have the Marines attacking from the bottom as well. Those will all get swallowed by the Banelings, and it now opens up that expansion for Assault as well. The Thor up top gets picked off as well. The wall has still been lowered. These Banelings, MMA's trading as well as he can, actually choose through a lot of the army of VortiX, and VortiX went for a very ambitious attack that did not seem to pay off with the greatest of dividends for him. However, he still has that economic advantage. He still has this top left base. He still has this bottom right base now fully saturated. 3 spine crawlers basically to say, no, you're not going to attack me anytime soon. And MMA, he's just doing what he can. He doesn't have that many Marauders, but Hive Tech was reached. There's still no Ultralisk Cavern, which is it's a plus for MMA. He can still play with just Marines for now, and Thors, and maybe Hellbats if he wants to. But now the Muta's trying to poke. Gets a Widow Mine over there. And this refinery as well. He's just going to kill whatever he can. This is just being really freaking annoying for MMA. He doesn't have too many options as far as pushing out because this creep spread is so damn far. He'll see him as soon as he moves out, and then he can position himself however well he wants. MMA has to... The step number 1 to beating Zerg with bio is you have to keep the creep back. You have to keep the creep back. But MMA's going to kill some of these rocks. He has planted a 4th command center down, so his economy will still be reasonably okay. 2 Widow Mines as well with this missile turret. Should be fine to cover against Mutalisks. But VortiX is getting ready to go for an attack. If he steps too far out on the creep, be a very risky proposition for him. Mutalisks come once again over towards this 3rd base for MMA. And that refinery has just had a bad day A very bad day indeed. But now Ultralisks are coming. That Ultralisk Cavern was building all along as MMA attempted to secure that 4th base. Chitinous plating, 3-3. Adrenal glands, +3 attack for the Flyers. And I love this. VortiX with the +3 attack on these mutas. This is what allows these mutas to be so annoying and pick units off so quickly. Is MMA going to move out? He needs to be very careful. MMA does not have many Widow Mines with this army either. I think just 2. So VortiX might just try to swallow him here. No. VortiX is playing this also as passively as he can. He's taking every base on his side of the map. And I think he realized after the first few attacks that there is still a chance for MMA to win this. He's up 40 army supply. MMA's behind economically, but he has a huge army. The question is, will that be enough? And tries to boost some medevacs away. He's running, and MMA's going to try to catch those mutas. No luck. But VortiX, once these Ultralisks are on the map, these Ultras really pave the way for him to win the game. When you fight with Ultralisks and Banelings, it's just Ultralisks on their own, not the best. Banelings on their own, they're okay. Wow, great detonation from that Widow Mine. Picks up 9 kills, and that looked to be mostly Banelings. But, you know, when you have Baneling backup for Ultralisks, then it becomes a pain. You have to kill the Ultralisks, and the Banelings just roll right between them. The Ultralisks are so big, it actually kind of blocks the view of them, so you can't even think about focusing Banelings in those situations. 2 medevacs are loaded up to go to the bottom left, but, hey, Overlords and the Mutalisks are going to find these a delicious snack. Oh, that is quite rough. VortiX just absolutely annihilates that double drop. And MMA, I mean, he has an army, but he doesn't have the economy to replace drops that he throws away like that. At least not yet. And VortiX is going to attack into this entrenched position. The Marines spread out fantastically well, and I don't know what he was thinking. Losing most everything he's got. Remaxing 6 Ultralisks. He's getting, actually almost going to get drops. We'll cancel that, but MMA can now counter and kill this base, I feel. And yeah, the drones are just running for it. VortiX realizes, he's like, okay, well, maybe that fight was not what I was looking for here. MMA is the one that needs to be cost effective, and now he certainly is. 4,000 resources ahead. Which is, you know, that's a couple of those mineral plots that VortiX has on top of MMA. And he's actually going to build Ultralisks here. I'm about to be reminded, it's like almost like a Carbot video where the Ultralisks just pop out of the lone egg after the base is destroyed. But he kills some of the creep as well. He's going to back off. And this is good, solid play from MMA, who wants to lift up his command center and move it over. There is an Overlord blocking it, though. What does VortiX have? He is still heavy on those Ultralisks once again, but how many Banelings? 18. Okay, that's reasonable. He's going to try to kill these rocks. Ultralisks can kill those quite fast, but this army from MMA is so strong. All he needs to do is not get everything killed by a couple Banelings, really. And I don't know if he wants to give chase because there is still that, there's still the creep over here. The creep isn't on the left side, though, which is where MMA's been able to take the good fights, burrowing a couple Widow Mines as well. And, this space looks like it will get picked off. I don't see any way that he can save it from Mutalisks now. Wait, no, VortiX not going to do it. Wait, dude, a drop manages to slip into the main base of VortiX. At the same time, he's going to press in. The Marines are so clumped up. Widow Mine actually gets rid of the Overseers, but MMA's army is still intact, and he's in the main base. He kills, I think, just 1 Queen. 4 Marines are going to run over to the Natural. They'll gladly take a fight against the Queen. They don't really do any damage versus Marines without any attack upgrades. But this drop that goes over towards the island base will be picked up. This command center most likely going to die as well. He's loaded up 2 medevacs trying to drop his own island base to save it. And, he needs to move quickly. Those Mutalisks are... That +3 attack really paying off. Command center gets destroyed. And MMA is just going to stem across the map. And that's... pretty bold move. He's like, wait, no, I don't want to actually do that. He might actually kill the Ultralisk Cavern. This would be pretty nice. The Marauder over here, he has the Marines. They will get killed by the Ultralisks. And, yeah, he realizes he's still got this Marauder here. You can pull all the Mutalisks back with this drop, which is quite nice. The +1 Flyer Carapace is going to finish, so these Mutalisks have been so damn good. Where's his supply? He's going to kill these rocks. Reasonable enough. But VortiX still has his bottom right base, starting up 3 Spine Crawlers. And he's rebuilt this left side base. Only 1 base on the map right now. That's untouched. Well, I guess this one's still kind of a virgin base until this command center actually plants itself down. But back into Widow Mine production. He's okay with just having 1 Thor. The Widow Mine count is actually starting to get pretty impressive. He has 9 with his force. More than enough to clear out a horde of Zerglings and Banelings. The question is, will it be enough with this creep spread? Will he get the detonations off in time? As VortiX would love to deny this 5th base from MMA. His 3rd can pretty much almost mined out. And, well, This is a tough army to fight for MMA, but he has a good spread. Widow Mines are broad. VortiX wants to just overpower him, move on to the round of 4. Can he do it? Fighting off of the creep. Gets an Infestor Fungal, though, allowing the Ultralisks to climb onto this bio, but the next wave of reinforcements is here. The Remax, 76 Zerglings and 3 Ultralisks. He will lose, he technically loses the fight, but with he's remaxing on just Lings and Ultras is pretty scary. He needs to get a lot of Banelings. The Infestors are getting tagged as well. And I feel like just pushing as far as he can right now is the best thing he can do. Push before the Banelings. Gets a Fungal. The Ultralisk wants to come in. The Zerglings are here as well. The Widow Mines planted in the back. And they're actually going to do a lot of friendly fire. Actually pick off a few Mutalisks instead. Not exactly what I was expecting. But MMA's army just completely eradicated over here, trying to chase maybe a little bit too far. However, he does have the economy here. Oh my goodness, dropping so many mules. The mule hammer has hit the floor. 6 mules. You start the game with 6 SCVs, but you can sure as hell end a game with 6 mules, and MMA is trying to defend this base. The Banelings, not too many of them. The Mutalisks are going to try to chase down these retreating Marines who are basically just running from the Banelings at this point. The rally, a little almost sloppy. He's still not taking any damage here. 32 more Links, 5 more Ultralisks on the way, and we are going to see he has 3,000 gas in the bank. VortiX can make pretty much just a horribly disgusting number of Banelings now, and I'm actually just waiting to see him do it. Forces a liftoff on this base. All these SCVs will be forfeit. He's chasing. There's the Fungal. The Ultralisks get right on top. You cannot kite off of creep if there's Fungal on your units. And VortiX has made some good adjustments in this series so far, switching into these Infestors to deal with the lack of creep spread. Really, this Planetary Fortress doing its best, but MMA is being overwhelmed, down 100 supply to VortiX. VortiX wants to move on to the round of 8, and he will. GG. MMA taps out, and VortiX